Hi, it's me, Mr. R, and today we're going to be doing some math. We started learning about long division, and it was kind of confusing. There are a lot of different things we're doing when we try to solve when using long division. So we're going to take a look at what we already know about division and see if that helps us better understand how we do long division. Hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier. Let's get started. So what do you guys already know? And if you need to pause it to think, you can. What do we already know about division? What was that? What do you already know about division? If you said that division is a separating operation, you are absolutely right. Division is a separating operation. We start with a total and we separate by taking out 3 over and over and over again in equal measures. It's like subtraction, they're related. Except with subtraction, we take away once. We have our total, we take away part, and what we're left with is a smaller part. And we're done. But with division, we're going to take away again and again and again until we have nothing left, because we're trying to see how many equal measures I can make. And we call this whole process repeated subtraction. Wow. So glad you remembered that. Let's remind ourselves what that looks like. If I'm doing this problem, I have a total of 12. I'm going to take away 3. Now I have 9. I'm not done. I have 9. I take away 3. Now I have 6. Notice we started with a total and we're repeatedly subtracting in equal measures. We're taking out the same thing over and over again. 6 minus 4. Why doesn't that work? Because that isn't an equal measure. It has to be the same thing over and over again. 3. Take it away again. And now we have nothing. But our goal wasn't to subtract everything and so that we could see we had nothing. Our answer isn't 0. What we were seeing is how many times we can take out the equal measure of 3. And we could do that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I have a total of 12 and I separate it into equal measures of 3, I take out 3, I can do that 4 times. Okay? The answer is 4. So we knew that already. What does that have to do with long division? Great question. So glad you asked. So let's pretend we had a number like 108 divided by 3. Let's do that. I'll use repeated subtraction. My favorite. 108 minus 3 equals 105. I'm not done. 105 minus 3 equals 102. I'm not done. 102 minus 3 equals 99. I'm not done. 99 minus 3 equals 96. I'm not done. 96 minus 3 equals 93. I'm not done. 93 minus 3 equals 90. I'm not done. 90. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, this is why we don't do this. Once we start to have really big numbers, we cannot use repeated subtraction like this. And this is why we use long division. Long division. So, in order to do long division, we're actually using a lot of what we already know about regular division. Let's give it a shot. The first thing we have to do is we have to write it a little bit differently. And that looks like this. We take our total and we put it inside this little house and say, hey, get in there. We're going to do some division. And then we're going to divide that by 3. Then what we're going to need is, we put a little multiplication sign here. Then we're going to need our multiple list. That's going to help us keep track. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. I'm going to stop right there. That's good. All right. Keep in mind, this is still division, so we're still going to be repeatedly subtracting. So here's how it's going to go. I'm going to say, okay, how close can I get to 1 without going over? We're trying to subtract. That's why I want to see how close we can get, because we're going to take that away. But what's different is we're trying to take it away in chunks. Instead of going -3, -3, -3, we're seeing, okay, what's the biggest number, the biggest chunk, the closest I can get, so I can take that all away at once. The closest I can get to 1 is nothing. I'm already over it. I can't take away 3. So I'm going to put 0. And I'm going to extend this. And we're going to see, okay, can I take away a bigger chunk? 10. How close can I get to that without going over? Let's see. 3, 6, 9. I can't do 12. That's too big. I'm going to take away a chunk of 9. Where did I get 9 from? I turned my 3 into a big chunk, 9. I did that by multiplying it by 1, 2, 3. And we're keeping track of this. I want to take away a big chunk instead of just 3 over and over again. So I'd look to see how close I can get without going over, so I can take away a big chunk. Because it's repeated subtraction. And that left me with 1. But I'm not done. I used these place values, which means I still have this guy. So we're going to bring him down here so he can join the party and we can use him. Okay, same thing. We're asking, how close can I get without going over, because it's repeated subtraction. The closest I can get to 18 without going over is 3. No, I can get closer. 6. I can get closer. 9. I can get closer. I can get closer. The closest I can get is 18. 21 would be too big. The closest I can get is 18. Now I have a big chunk I can take away. But how did I make that? I need to keep track of that. In order to turn my 3, my little piece, into a big chunk of 18 and take that away all at the same time, I did times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5, times 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Then I subtract it. I'm done with this. I don't have any more place values to bring down. There's nothing there, and I'm done. 108 divided by 3 is 36. That was a lot, I know. So we're going to do another one. But I want to remind you what the main things are. This is division, so it's still repeated subtraction. We want to know how close we can get without going over so we can subtract a big chunk. And we do that over and over again because it's repeated subtraction. So the two things you need to keep in mind is it's repeated subtraction. And the other thing is we're doing it in big chunks. So we're going to keep asking, how close can I get without going over? And why do we ask this question? Because it's repeated subtraction. Let's try another one. Now that we know that it's repeated subtraction. All right, we're going to try 225 divided by 3. We're not going to go 225 minus 3 equals 222, 222 minus 3. That would take forever. We're not doing that. So we have to rewrite it as long division. Mr. How do we do that? Well, we just did it a second ago. Rewind it if you really don't know. We do that by going like this. And we say, we build that guy his house. We stick him inside. 225. And then we see how close we can get without going over. Why are we asking that? Because it's repeated subtraction. So we start with our first number and say, how close can I get to that without going over? You know why. And we can't get any, that's it. He's too small. That doesn't work. So we're gonna put 0 and we're going to extend it. Now we're gonna ask, how close can we get to 22 without going over? Why are we asking that? Because it's repeated subtraction. The closest we can get to 22 without going over is 21. 24 is too big. 21. How did we turn our 3 into that big chunk of 21? We multiplied it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So instead of subtracting 3 over and over again, we did one big one and we subtracted it all at once. I got distracted for a second, sorry. So the closest we could get was 21. We did that big chunk by multiplying 3 times 7. That gave us 21. We can subtract it. We have 1 left. We used all these place values, but we're not done. We have one more place value to bring down. Bring him to the party. Hey, how close can we get to this without going over? Why are we asking that? Because it's repeated subtraction. All right. The closest we can get to 15 without going over is 15. Wow, exact. That is so cool. What are the chances? We need to keep track. How did we turn our 3 into that big chunk of 15? We multiplied it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we put that up here. Then we can subtract. We have nothing left. There are no more place values to bring down. We are done. And that is long division. The things to remember are that it's repeated subtraction, which means you're going to ask, how close can I get without going over so I can take away the biggest chunk possible because it's repeated subtraction. Okay, so good luck, and I hope that helped it be a little bit easier.